Welcome to Until It's Done, a devoted podcast. I am your host, Dana Lynn Kaye, and I am joined today with my beautiful mother, Mickey, and my beautiful right-hand woman at Devotion Nutrition, Kelley. And I just want to tell you guys, first of all, I did not prep these ladies today for the podcast. So I really, really want these conversations to be as real and organic as possible, because we do have some of the best conversations that way. You know, if we prepare for them too much, we're like in our heads too much, and which is me right now. This podcast right now, I'll just have you guys know, like, I didn't think my mind could be in any more overdrive than just because of like my family and my business and all my stuff. And now that I'm thinking about the podcast, I'm constantly in my notes on my phone, dumping my ideas of the topics that I've been dying to talk about.
I've seen it.
Oh my gosh. I'll be in the middle of speaking to somebody and all of a sudden I'm like, oh God, that's a great topic. Like, we have to, everyone has to hear this. All right. So first of all, Kelley, I don't know if you saw this on my TikTok. So first of all, for the record, the person who told us to do TikTok was my 70-year-old mother over here. Like, we were kicking and screaming. We didn't want to do another social media platform, by the way. We've been heavy on Instagram and Facebook for almost the 8 years that we've, Devotion's been around. And then obviously we were on, four as just like personal accounts. And so when TikTok showed up, because I've really poured a lot into my Instagram, but Instagram's like been a beast lately. It's not easy to grow. It hasn't been easy to grow. No matter what content you pour in, no matter how good it is, no matter what, it's like, it doesn't matter. Like, it's like, it just, okay. Yeah. So TikTok comes around and we were kind of like, ugh, and we're exhausted. And it's not like we're 20 something, like, like fresh content creators, like excited to like start dancing and doing trends. So we were like, oh my God, like, I don't want to do another thing. Platform, and it's like, and Mom was like, I'm telling you, people are doing kids TikTok. You got to get on the TikTok. And I'm like, Mom, what do you know? Like, stop. Like, I don't want it. I don't want it. And now finally, I think, would it take us like probably over a year more, at least to finally say, okay, we'll start a TikTok account. And then I did what I did on Instagram, which was, we have a Devotion Nutrition Instagram, and that is strictly like devotion business. It's devotion, it's our products, it's our lifestyle, it's our recipes, it's all of that. But then I was like, well, I mean, I have a story and I'm the brand owner and all the stuff. So like, I'm still going to keep my Dana Lynn Kaye Instagram. And so I would kind of like juggle between the two, because it's, do you want to follow the brand? Do you like the behind the scenes? So, well, I did the same thing on TikTok, and our TikTok devotion is really phenomenal. Like, if you go there, you can find a lot of great content. We've put a lot of good work. Good stuff. But again, that's all devotion business. That's if you're coming for recipes, if you're coming for ideas, if you're coming to see even other people making creations and stuff. Okay, so I have my personal account on TikTok too. And TikTok is wild, wild west. TikTok is not like Instagram. Like, I was in shock. And like, as a person who, I'm not looking for fights. I'm not looking for controversy. It's like, I'm selling a protein powder, how to bake, you know what I mean? It's like, I remember when we first got on TikTok and people are putting down our creations and saying like our brownie batter pudding looked like tar, and like they're saying, and I'm like, what? Like, who makes these comments? Like, we never saw that on Instagram, or we would make our like delicious waffles and they'd be like, I bet it's like cardboard and dust, or like, or like sawdust. And we were like, and then everything, and finally, and in the beginning, I'm like, I'm offended. And then I'm like, have you tried it? Like, it's like, have you tried it? And then it was always like crickets. Like, no, the people just wanted to be rude because they'd never seen us before and we were new to the game, but like they weren't, and because protein usually does bake dry and it does taste like tar, probably. I don't know these other brands, but ours didn't. And so I was like offended. And Devotion, as you guys know, is like my fourth or fifth child. Yes. Like, I have my 3 kids, I've got my dog, and I've got Devotion, and I'm like a mama bear with all of those things. Like, you come after my kid, you come after my business, or you come after my dog. It's like the nice Dana that everybody knows becomes a mama bear that you don't want to mess with. So, TikTok has been interesting. And then my personal page, a lot of times, because the algorithm is different. People will find me before they find devotion, or they won't understand that, I am, the owner of devotion and that whatever. So, and, they'll ask me like, well, what protein powder do you use? Cause it's like my page kind of looks like I'm just like a fitness influencer or whatever, a healthy lifestyle influencer or whatever. Well, the other day, so yesterday, Kelley, I don't know if you saw this, Mom, I called you. I think I spoke to you immediately after this comment was made. Okay.
Oh no.
So I used to, in the beginning, I have matured. I have blossomed mentally, that I used to take everything so offensive. I was on the defense, everything to heart. If somebody critiqued my body, my lifestyle, anything I did, said anything, I was like hurt. I would let it bother me. Mm-hmm. Through the years, through maturity, through my growth, now, my boyfriend Greg just even said to me yesterday, he was like, wow, I'm so impressed with the fact that you're not even letting stuff bother you anymore. Like, people make the most outrageous. Somebody commented on a recipe post, your eyes are too close together. And we couldn't stop laughing. And now our insight.
I guess that's my fault.
Yeah, which that's your fault. But we couldn't stop laughing. Now, Greg's joke with me, he's like, I love you so much, except your eyes are close together. Now everything, all these ridiculous comments.
Where in the recipe did it call for you to look at my eyes and judge my eyes?
Wait, and you guys, Greg actually got out a measuring tape. We looked up the average distance between eyes, and he was like, no, you're actually normal. And then I was like, yeah, it actually
my eyes are.
It prompted us to where he's like, oh my God, are they? And I'm just like, I don't know, are they? The whole thing is ridiculous. But anyway, obviously now it's a joke. I don't care what it is. I think the whole thing is hilarious. But so the other day I did a post defending one of the content creators named Teresa. Now, Teresa was 600 pounds. She's lost 400. Her story, when you go to her page, you get chills because you're like, oh my gosh,
incredible.
This woman really transformed her life. Her whole life. Mm-hmm. And so she had posted that she was eating a snack before bed, and somebody came at her saying, oh, you shouldn't be eating that close before bed or whatever. And then, she made a post kind of coming back saying, well, look, it's worked for me. I eat before bed, blah, blah, blah. And I felt that because I saw it and I was like, are you kidding? Is the myth that you can't eat before bed still a thing? Really people are still oh, don't eat past 6 o'clock at night, all that garbage. And so for, forever I've been eating cereal before bed. I eat my creamy, my fluff, I
eat my pudding
right before bed. I always eat before bed. And during even times when I've competed or lost tons of weight after I gave birth to my babies.
You always had protein before bed.
I always. Protein and some carbs and some fats. Mm-hmm. I eat almonds before, 30 almonds before bed. I eat. So I did a video defending her, saying this is actually what I eat. And I've kept my weight off all these years. So somebody commented that, I can't remember what her comment was, but she said something like, she called me thin privileged.
Oh, no, I did.
Yes.
The tiny mic.
Yes.
I saw it.
Did you see it? Okay. So now instead of Dana, because in the past, when she called me thin privileged, I was like, in the past, I would... Okay, my ex-husband used to say I would shoot at the hip, where I was like, it's if you offend me, I would just I just want to be, I want to attack, I want to be mama bear, I want to just how dare you say that I'm thin privileged? You don't know my story, you don't know where I've come from, what I've done, my battle to get here, and you're going to call me thin privileged? So first, that whole privilege thing, first of all, it rubs me the wrong way, first of all, but then to say that, so I shot back, but what I do now is, we bought this little pink tiny mic. And for whatever reason, when I get the tiny mic into my hand and I make content, it calms me down. And I'm like, let me just explain to you something. And because if I don't have the tiny mic, I will be like, let me explain something to you.
Yes.
But because I had that tiny mic, I was like, thin privilege. And here's the thing. It offends me in the way that it would offend... say, Mom, the last episode we spoke about you starting from zero, building your company. Mm-hmm. And, you've made money, you're very comfortable now. Fine, we'll call it whatever you want to call it. But if somebody said to you, like, oh, it must be really nice. Must be nice that you have that money. Like, wouldn't you be like, yeah, like it's offensive, like, or, makes a comment to you, like you have it easier because you have money, or and then it's like, did you think I won the lottery? Like, did you think it happened by accident? Like, I don't like it when people minimize other people's hard work and then they'll say, oh, must be nice for you. Must be nice. Yeah. And it's your
Well, Dana, our whole life people have said, like, you have my genetics.
Oh, yeah. So genetics. I love it when people say, like, there's a certain part.
Yeah, certain genetics you have. We both worked very hard.
First of all, you gave me your big thighs. You gave me cellulite. I mean, genetics. You gave me, the ability that I don't have a nice hard bubble butt. Like, yeah, you gave me things that I, genetically, it's like, so that to me is like so offensive, because especially if you don't know my story, you haven't been there, to say something to somebody must be nice. It's like that underhanded. And look, there are people who are, in my opinion, there's lots of people who are like, I call them like waste to society. It's like, okay, well, maybe you inherited millions and you do nothing with your life, and you haven't paid it forward. You're not out there spreading a message. You're not out there working. You're not out there. Fine. Like if you know their story and they really, and that, and you want that opinion on, that's fine. To come on somebody's TikTok page and then say thin privileged, and then act like I haven't fought tooth and nail for everything that anything with what my body looks like, where I've brought it really, really offended me.
Oh, yeah. It should have rubbed you the wrong way. Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah. And so anyway, I did the tiny mic.
Which was fabulous.
And the women loved it. They really, and she tried to come back, and she was like, she's like, well, that's not what what I was saying was, it's saying that what society perceives your body, if society looks at you and what your body looks like, they're going to assume that you know what you're talking about. But if they look at somebody heavy, I don't know this whole, because I Googled thin privilege before I even responded, because I'm like, what are you trying to say with thin privilege? Like, I was like, okay, and I look it up.
I'm dying to hear what
and
Google said.
It was about how society will say, like, if somebody's thin, that means they're automatically healthy, or if somebody is overweight, which
is so false,
is unhealthy. But I'm still thinking, like, what the hell does that have to do with me?
Yeah.
Thin privilege, and then. Not only that, and then she said, so then the other thing she said, well, because if people would question Teresa about their nutrition, but they're not going to question Dana. And I said, you know what? That's a misconception.
Completely.
And maybe I wouldn't be questioned, which I have been, about they say nutrition choices or whatever. I have certainly been come at for many other things. Like, how many times have I posted my body, my fitness photos, my transformation, my whatever, and people will say, oh, it's because you're using steroids. Oh, it's because they jump to conclusions. Misconception. So maybe it's a misconception that Teresa, because she's not your society's ideal right now, she's still on her journey. We don't know where Teresa's on a different timeline than I'm on.
There's no reason to minimize anybody's hard work.
Right.
Anybody's.
And then also to jump to conclusions about how I got my results. I'm always like, why don't you just, instead of saying, oh, it's because you're taking something, or because you had help with anabolics or whatever. And I'm like, first of all, you can ask me. Oh, did you use PEDs, performance enhancing drugs, while you competed or in your fitness journey?
So did you?
I absolutely did not.
I know you didn't.
You know I didn't.
I know. You never have used anything.
And that's another thing that would offend me, because because I'm over here trying to tell other women, I'm trying to show them what is possible, and I'm trying to show them what is possible as naturally as possible, because I'm not against plastic surgery. So I'm not over here claiming, oh yeah, I'm all natural. Okay, I guess if you want to call plastic surgery, like, yes, but as far as performance enhancing drugs, they were not part of my transformation at all. In fact, I didn't understand anything about hormones. So hormones it wasn't even like I could say, I was doing hormone replacement. I wasn't doing that either. And I never did performance enhancing to compete in figure, which is actually why I stopped competing, was because I finally got to the national level and I was like, I cannot go any further, especially if I don't take drugs and I'm not interested in taking drugs. So there's probably the end of my journey. So that's where
And even if you do, sometimes it's the end of your journey. Because I took anabolics when I competed at 48. So I took, what did I take? Anavar and Primobolan. And I also took HGH.
Okay.
And that got me to, I was a tight package. You saw I was 8%.
You looked phenomenal.
Which was great. But I also only wanted to take things that were considered safe, I guess, for females.
Yeah.
But still, even then, that was all I was willing to do. And at a national level, I was only second call outs. They wanted a wider back. I'm like, that's all I got.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this. This is not a lifestyle for me.
Right.
So,
everybody has to know their boundaries.
Yes, 100%. And I was not willing. I like being a girl.
Yeah. I stood backstage, and when I saw kind of what it would take and where I'd have to bring my body, I was like,
and it's only getting worse.
Yeah, and I said, this isn't for me. And so, but meanwhile, because I have competed and because I do keep a leaner physique and I have some muscle on my body, it's like they assume or they want to assume. They're trying to find. There are people who are always trying to find, why is it easier for you than me? Why did you do? Oh, because you have a
maybe they
that
see
is
that
their
as an excuse.
Yeah, 100%.
Like I had a magic bullet that they didn't have.
No. That's their excuse for not having to do the work.
Right. Which, that's
their excuse to sit back like this and go, she takes
stuff, so that's why she looks great.
She does this, or she had plastic surgery, or she did this.
Right. Well, and that was the other thing. So after I gave birth to the twins and I had diastasis recti, very bad. My abs were busted. I mean, Mom, you remember very well that
full term twins.
I was like, I couldn't even drive at the end. My belly was so long and big, so my belly went out with the twins, and it was really bad. I even had to.
Some people might not know what diastasis is.
So diastasis recti is when your abdominal muscles, they naturally, when you're pregnant, they'll like do a little bit of a spread. But then, like for a lot of women, they can come back together and go back down. But many women, when you get really big, the abs will spread, the abdominals will spread past the point of no return. And so like so mine spread as wide, and then what happens is it's like saran wrap, like what holds them together, and when that just loses its elasticity, there's no bringing your abs back without surgery.
Yeah, so you can't hold your stomach in.
You can't hold it in, there's no sucking it in,
your insides are just...
So like it was 7 months after giving birth to the twins, and I still looked pregnant, and I went to the doctor and I was like, what is going on with my stomach? And he was like, Dana, those are your organs. They're just falling forward. They're just, everything was out. And I was like, okay, how do I fix this? Because I was still wearing like tummy things and I had tummy support. And the doctor was like, you have the most severe case there is. There's no bringing it back with exercise. You're going to have surgery. And he said, if you don't have surgery, your back will be compromised because you have no core. You're just, everything's falling forward. So, but I was breastfeeding the twins. I decided to wean all that down so I could get ready and to have surgery. I was like, as a family, my ex-husband, my mom, we were all like, well, what's Dana's choice? Like everybody saw the condition that my stomach was in, and it was like a no-brainer. It was like, okay, you got to get this fixed. You can't you can't look like that forever. You can't function like that. So I did get the surgery, and after the surgery was then when I started when I declared, okay, I'm going to get in the best shape of my life after the twins. So when I shared everything on social media, I was also sharing that my stretch marks were still there. My loose skin was still, yes, they did get to cut away a little bit of that loose skin. They did fix me up. But, I showed on I didn't talk about my plastic surgery because I didn't want that to be about my journey. I wanted fitness I wanted healthy eating, weight training, that whole thing. So I never mentioned my surgeries. And so the Dr. Oz show, a producer from the Dr. Oz show was following me somehow on Instagram. And she reached out to me and said, hey, we're doing a segment on loving your lines. We're calling them like earning your tiger stripes. And you're so outspoken on your Instagram about your stretch marks and embracing them. We'd love to have you on the show. I was like, sure. They picked out a picture that they loved that I had shared. And I was just trying to empower women to feel good in their own skin, like no matter what, because I in the beginning, I was like, after I gave birth to the twins and then I had the surgery, I realized, okay, well, there's some things I can change. I'm ready to go to war with my, with my journey, and I'm gonna get myself to where I feel amazing. But there are some things between the stretch marks and loose skin in places, I'm just gonna have to embrace. I'm gonna have to just say, well, I had twins, and that's it. So the Dr. Oz liked that message, that Dr. Oz show. Went on the show and I did that, and then we posted a before and after, and then the after photo, I used a photo from like a comeback photo shoot. And Kelley, Kelley's a photographer. She's a lot of things. Like Kelley and my mom are very much alike. They both could have like 74 careers easily, but. As a photographer, many times before you release photos to your clients, I did a comeback like fitness shoot after my twins. I was like very excited to celebrate my comeback. The photographer like cleaned up my stretch marks and just whatever, but it was my body. People like, instead of seeing this big pregnant belly and then seeing my after and saying like, wow, I mean, I'm not going to say everybody. Of course, there were many people that are amazing and that were like, but there were these special people who would like have to put in the comments like, oh, that's not her, that's Photoshop, that's not real, where are her stretch marks, and then like instead of just saying like, wow, phenomenal job, it's like because we used a professional photo for the after photo and the stretch marks weren't as obvious, it's like there are these people who have to then, it's like I'm like, wow, do you just look for the negative thing to say?
Nothing better to do with their lives.
Instead of saying like, holy cow, that woman was 210 pounds. She's carrying 2 babies full term. You can see her body is stretched out. And then, after the aftermath, obviously anybody who's been pregnant knows it's not very pretty. The whole, it's like you have the baby and then you're like, okay, like I'm left with, the percentage of women who just like snap back, which mom, I know. Mom's like, I walked out in my before pregnancy jeans. And I was like, okay.
I didn't.
I'm like, mine could be like a sweatband. Like,
I didn't. I'll never forget my dad said, I thought you had that baby. I was like, oh, no, that's fine.
My God, the comments, right?
Thanks. Appreciate you.
The comments. It's like that people make, and it's like a woman just gives birth to a baby and your body, like everything was so stretched out and felt gross and just didn't feel right because it's like you're not used to feeling, and then you're assuming, especially after your first baby where you're like ignorance was bliss. Like I thought like I was going to like pop him out. I'm like, no problem. Like once I have this kid, like I'm going to be back. And then it's like, I like had Bodhi and I gained 80 pounds with Bodhi, even more with 70 pounds with Bodhi. Oh my God, the aftermath.
Dana, remember you used to eat like crazy.
Oh, I ate everything. Oh, what did I think I was eating for?
Oh my God.
Oh, I ate so much. And I didn't.
You thought it was like.
I thought it was like a free for all.
Yeah, like nobody's going to notice.
And I would be like, I'm just craving chocolate milk and orange juice, and I need a full calzone and a sub and oh God. But I love food. And so, I mean, I don't know if pregnancy, I was using that as my ticket or what. I don't know.
And you're a volume eater. You like volume.
And I'm a volume eater.
Not great.
And I just felt sluggish and yucky being pregnant, and I was tired, and my body puts on weight without being pregnant so quickly. So being pregnant, it was like, it's just, so I was like, oh, whatever. But meanwhile, then it was like I was ready to not feel that way anymore. I give birth to Bodhi. I get home and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have so much work to do. I had so much work to do. And then I had like things where I had so much work to do, and yet Mama had a blood infection that I almost died from after Bodhi.
Oh, yeah, you had sepsis.
I had sepsis, so I was back in the hospital in the infectious disease unit on IVs around the clock after having a newborn baby. And then we went on a family ski trip. I was still trying to get some like that weight off. I blew out my ACL, so I had no knee. I'd have knee surgery. So again, I'm sitting on my butt. Like it was rough. Like it was like one thing after another.
Which privilege does all of that fall
yeah,
into?
I think, well, and the fact that we had a new baby and we didn't know what the heck we were doing. So he's up screaming all through the night, 5 a.m. I'm like a freaking zombie. I'm not sleeping. It was, yeah. So, which privilege, I don't know.
Which one does that fall under?
I don't know. It doesn't sound like I had it any easier than any other mom.
Right? Sounds like it may have been a little more difficult.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, I didn't get sepsis after I gave birth.
Yeah, that's not a common.
Do I have privilege?
But yeah.
Sepsis. Or blow out my ACL. I've never had any broken bones.
Yeah. Wait, so Mom, after you had kids though, but see, Mom, you didn't struggle like I did.
Have all those problems.
You didn't have all those.
I gained 25 pounds.
25.
Had you, went home on my own jeans.
Oh, that's so annoying.
I had no help at all.
I hate that story.
No, I just
I don't like it either.
I breastfed you. I lost the weight immediately and started getting really thin.
They say that has a lot to do with it, though, breastfeeding. Is that it helps you go down.
Oh, it does.
And Caitlin couldn't latch, so we were screwed.
Well, my twins both latched fine, and it didn't help me go down any faster. I was still, but then again, I was so tired, and I was.
It was.
Yeah, and I had all and then I had a toddler and newborn twins, so I had like a lot to juggle. And the recovery. I don't know the recovery. Oh, and I had C-sections. Mom, you had natural.
No, I had natural.
Kelley, you had natural, right?
Mm-hmm.
My C-sections were not pretty. That was like a rough recovery for me.
Yeah.
I don't know. Everybody's different.
It's a lot.
Yeah. But yeah. So
to body image.
Back to body image.
Not pregnancy.
So, well, no. Okay. So, but then meanwhile, body image, I think is with that kind of, with that topic branching off of here, we had a fabulous conversation when we left the other day after recording a podcast about how we feel about our bodies. And it's funny because even though all of our journeys have been different and our experiences have been different, still as women, it's like we still have a lot of times even if somebody says to you, what are you talking about? You look great. You look great. You look fabulous. Oh no, it does. Yeah. It's like it almost doesn't matter if somebody says, "Oh," or even as your significant other, "Babe, you look great. You're sexy," or whatever. It doesn't matter what they say. It's what we feel. It doesn't turn off your brain.
Yeah, it doesn't turn off our thoughts.
No, right? You have an image in your head as to what you used to look like and what you do want to look like.
Right.
And if you don't look like that, you think you're not where you want to be.
To par, yeah.
And everyone's body image is different. I mean, right.
And I think some people it affects their life and other people just accept themselves.
Yeah, where it's not a priority. It's not a priority and to them. Like some people it's not. But then again, like I feel like everybody has a little bit. I don't know. Like
I think everybody cares to some degree.
And I did a TikTok where I explained to people because I thought about it years ago. When I got into bodybuilding and, my dad didn't understand my fitness stuff and Mom's fitness stuff. He wasn't into it. He wasn't into weight training. He wasn't into sculpting his body. He didn't get it. It wasn't his thing. He liked to play sports and whatever. But one time the word vein came out of his mouth and it hurt Mom and I because see, I don't look at people who take care of themselves as vain. I look at them as people who take pride in themselves and their appearance and the way that they, I'm like, what is wrong with that? A lot of things that people do, whether you're getting your hair done, your nails done, how you wear your makeup, how you dress, you're taking pride. And so I did a TikTok where I was walking around the neighborhood and I remember looking at everybody's houses in my neighborhood. And I remember thinking, if I saw my neighbor outside and I see my neighbors outside and they're washing their cars and they're doing the yard work and they're repainting their house. Do I say like, ew, they're so vain? I think, no, they have a lot of pride in their home. That's really nice. They care about how their home looks like on the block, right? And so if I take care of my home, Is my body not my home? This is what I'm living in. My soul, my brain, my whatever you want to say. So this is my caring. This is my home. So if I'm trying to make my home look nice, am I being vain, or am I saying I have pride in the way that I'm presenting myself and where I live?
Yeah.
So
your body's your temple.
Right.
You're supposed to take care of it.
That's a good way to put it.
So I don't walk around going, ugh, look at, oh God, the Joneses, like they're painting their house again.
I think people are consistent in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
It's like the people who take care of their materialistic things, they take care of themselves, they take care of their teeth, they take care of their nails.
I think so. I mean, there's some people who care more about, where there's some people who are driving real flashy cars, but then they live in a dump, and you're like, what? Like it's like they want people. Some people are doing it for other people. Some people are doing it because they want other people to think of them a certain way. They want to put out an image. I do it because and I know you do it, and you do it because you just care. You care about how you look, how you feel. It's important to you whether anybody sees it or not.
That's the key right there. That's the one thing that I'll never forget when I was going through like the getting myself out of debt so that I can live debt-free, was when you go to buy something, which would be the same thing as far as taking care of yourself. If nobody else was ever going to see it, would you still want it? So that goes back to that. So I mean, it's if you're doing it for you, and I think that too. I mean, taking care of yourself makes you feel better, and when we feel better about ourselves, it's a mental bonus too. Yes. You know, I mean, it's your overall well-being. It's not just about aesthetics, although I think that is why most of us start. You know, and anybody tells you anything different is probably just, pulling your leg. Right. Because it is. I mean, all of us want to look nice and want to feel attractive and feel good. Yeah.
There are some days that I'm home alone. It's not even like I'm going to the office, and I'll just be like, and Mom, you and I, you've always said to me, like when I'll call you and I'll say, Mom, I'm just feeling down today. I'm not feeling great, and I'm a little overwhelmed or whatever. And you would just say to me, Dana, go take a shower.
Put on your face.
Put on a little makeup, do your hair, put on a nice outfit. Yep. And like, it's so funny. And I'd laugh to myself because at the end of the day, like nobody saw me. I didn't go out anywhere. But I sat at home and I was productive just because I felt good. I didn't feel dirty and sloppy, and I'm just like in my pajamas. And I say it to my girls too in the morning, like they'll come in their pajamas, and I'll say, guys, go upstairs, make your bed, go wash up, let's put on a nice outfit, let's have a good set. And they'll go, why? What are we doing today? What do we have planned? And I'm like, nothing. But we're just going to start the day doing that stuff and see where it takes us. Right?
Yep.
It's like, So, the whole...
That's why I make my bed every morning. First thing you do in the morning, so you have something accomplished.
Yes. And your space is clean, and you feel good.
Neat.
And then if anything...
You learned that in the Army. I said you learned that in the Army.
I don't tuck my corners. I just make my bed.
or bounce the corner.
Bouncing the corner. Yeah, none of that.
Yeah, but I've seen a video where somebody did say it's because then at the end of the day, no matter how your day went, it's like you're coming home to a nice made bed. You make your bed in the morning. So once I heard that, I was like, I like that. Which I was doing it anyway, but I even liked the meat. Like once I heard that, I was like,
before you even leave the room, you've accomplished something, and you know how we are. We have days when we're just when we're really super productive, and we feel so good. So
those are my best days.
Check the boxes.
We love being productive.
Check the boxes.
Yes. Those are the best days.
Yeah.
And Mom, our last episode, Mom and I were talking about how we have like a problem sometimes relaxing and like just sitting and enjoying. But yet when we're together and we have productive days, like those are the days that we're like, wasn't today the best day? Wasn't that so much fun? And it's like, even if we were like, oh, let's just sit by the pool. Like, no, that's not, we wouldn't call each other if we just sat by the pool and just did nothing and say, wasn't that the best day? No, we call each other to say, wasn't that the best day when we did so many cool things. We accomplished stuff together. We got things done that we've been talking about for a while, so we want to do it. And then we're like, and you just, I don't know, you feel, it's like, I don't know, there's something very fulfilling about just checking the boxes of your to-do list. And I love it. Those are like days at the devotion office.
Yeah.
We've got our big whiteboard, and we've got our projects, and we've got our goals, and we've got our big time goals. We've got like some of our goals that we're just like, look, we have to just get this stuff like off our plate, get it done. And like in a few hours of us just
Yeah, powering through.
And by the end of the day, when we leave, we get in the car, and I'm just like, yeah.
Felt good.
Damn, that felt good. Just, we did it. We get more. We just chip away. That's how I even feel about the fitness. It's like 100%. Every day. It's like I'm not trying to look at the big picture like all the time. Sometimes you just focus on the here and now. You focus on the little tasks ahead of you, because those little tasks add up, like adding money to a piggy bank. They just add up. And in the beginning, it always seems like you're like dropping in a dime, dropping in a nickel, dropping in. And then all of a sudden one day you've dropped and dropped and dropped. And you've got this huge piggy bank full of money. Yeah. And it's like, oh, cool, we can take a vacation.
That goes back into the whole making it your lifestyle. You know, you keep chipping away, putting that dime in every day, a little bit at a time, and it adds up.
Yep. Oh, no, it's the best. Yep. It's the best. So, okay, so back to body image. Okay, so anyway, so something else I wanted to circle back around to. We're going to circle back around because I know we can get off. But Kelley and I were at the beach a couple weeks ago. We took a beach day, and it was like the most fabulous thing ever. We just had a fun time together. And I was telling her a story about one time when Mom and I were at the beach, or like it was like just, you know, where Kelley, I guess I was wearing a bathing suit. Kelley's wearing bathing suit. We're at the beach. And Kelley said something to me, like you were wearing a one piece.
I was wearing a one piece, yes.
And you were like, well, you know, a little longer. It's like,
a little longer. I'll get back into
a bikini. And I was like, what are you waiting for? Like, what do you mean? Like a little bit longer? Like, do it now. Like, what are you, like, I'm not looking at Kelley. Like, I'm like, I don't even think I've looked at her body today. I wasn't looking at her body. I wasn't judging her body. I don't even know what you're wearing, actually. You know, because I was like, we're two women having a good time together. And when she said that to me, I was like, oh my God, she is saying that because she feels like she's not worthy or there.
Yeah, in my head.
And I'm thinking like, oh, and we're looking around the beach and I'm like, Kelley, nobody here cares what you're wearing. In fact, like, and you know, like when you get up from your beach chair and you want to like go to the water, but you're like, oh, if I get up, like everyone's going to see my butt. And there's like, it's like jiggling. And then it's like, I'm running to the water just to get in the water so that, and it's almost ridiculous because I'm like, do you really think that everybody cares that much about your butt jiggling? Like, yes, you do. But for you to be now that self-conscious, missing out on life, no matter where you are in your journey or whatever. So Mom and I had the conversation because Mom's the one who at first I had the conversation with because we would be so hard on ourselves. What happened with you?
I told you a story about how I was at the Jersey Shore driving over by the boardwalk, and I felt like you were describing, you know, about my body, like that I shouldn't wear a bathing suit and have people see my not perfect body. And then I saw a girl with 3 guys in a bikini, and she was totally out of shape, but she was so happy, laughing, having a great time. And I thought to myself, oh my God, she doesn't even care. They don't care, and she's having fun. I should look at life like that. I should function like that.
And quit being so
critical of myself.
Right.
So, and I told you another story. So I live in Florida, and there's a beach club here that I always thought I should join. But years ago, I didn't join it because I thought that all the women there had this vision that they would be so, their figures would be amazing and they'd be dressed to the nines in their wonderful bikinis, and that I wouldn't look good enough. And then I joined the club finally one day, and I noticed that it wasn't like that at all. The women didn't look like that.
There weren't all these bodies.
Yeah, all these perfect bodies were not there.
Mm. It's like what we think that,
you know, and I thought, wow, all those years I thought that it would look different here.
Or that I wouldn't belong.
I wouldn't fit in.
Or that I'd feel awkward around all these like perfect hot bodies or something. Like, or.
So anyway.
Yeah. No, I know.
Anyway, so I was just over at the club and I wore my bathing suit and I walked around.
Strutting your stuff.
I don't strut it, but I just walk around doing whatever I need to do, and I don't worry about it.
Good. I love that. That's how I am now.
Now another thing I think of is, like, now I'm 70, and I feel like wow, maybe in 5 years I won't be as good as I am now. So what am I waiting for?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because I used to be better, and I wish I had appreciated that at the time.
No, isn't it funny? Because we'll look back thinking that we were thinking at the time we weren't enough. And then now I look back on pictures and I'm like, oh my God, I was fantastic. Why did I think I wasn't good enough?
But Dana, the truth is really, like you were saying, nobody cares. Just like I go to the beach, I go to a pool. I don't care if your legs have cellulite. I don't care what you're wearing. I don't care.
No.
I mean, it's not about the person.
No.
It's just, that body is just a...
I'm not judging what other people...
I'm not judging anybody either. And I don't think they're looking at me either. They couldn't care less what I look like.
Right.
And I know that now.
And the thing is, like, we also had a really good point in that conversation where we were saying that doesn't mean we should stop trying to work on ourselves and improve ourselves.
Yes, but we should enjoy our life while we're doing it.
Enjoy the present of where you are.
I think that's the point of today.
Yes. Yes. The point of, because it's not to say like, YOLO, whatever, I'm just look however I look, let myself go. It's like you still want to feel good, but wherever you are in that, you should always be still working on self-improvement, treating your body right, being healthy, living a healthy lifestyle, but don't keep putting it off like, oh, for when I'm perfect or when I get there. It's going to happen when I get there. No, like you just keep living your life but enjoy the process.
That's
exactly.
When you get where.
Until it's done.
Yeah,
it's never done.
And it looks different for everybody. You know, everybody has a different idea of where they want to be, but we have to learn to be
content
content in the present while still working towards our future.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. Because there really is no finish line.
No, there's
no finish line. Like when people would say like, "Oh, well, when are you done? Your body looks great. You look great." And I'm like, "Well, if I don't keep it up, then it won't stay here." Yeah. Like you understand that this is like when they say fitness is rented, not bought.
The rent is
due every damn month or every day. Yeah.
Yeah, every day.
It's like what you think that if I just stop doing what I'm doing, it'll just stay this way?
Nope.
No. In fact, no. Oh my gosh. It's like if you start to kind of, not that you have to kill yourself, but if you don't stay in your lifestyle and do the things that got you there.
Yeah.
That, like somebody will say like, well, what do I do once I get there? It's like, just keep doing it.
Yeah. Keep doing the same thing.
That's why, like, I don't like diet plans. I don't like, that's why it's like the word lifestyle.
Yeah.
I could, it's like, oh, sorry, hate to beat a dead horse, but like, I don't know what else to call it. It's like, you have to just do this stuff for the rest of your life. This is just how you live. It's just the way that I live. It's just the way that I live. Because if I don't do these things.
Oh, that's a healthy lifestyle.
It's a healthy lifestyle. And that's why I don't like, when people say like, I would see people on social media all the time and they're jumping from plan to plan to plan to plan. And it's like, okay, I understand like you're trying to do this or this to lose the weight, but then they think like, okay, the 12-week challenge is over. And then it's like, now what?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, keep going. What were you doing? Did you lose the weight? And they're like, oh, I lost 15 pounds. Okay.
Great.
But then why do people gain it back? Because then they're like, they go back to before, they think the plan's over.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you still have to do all the stuff you were doing on the plan. And then don't pick a plan that is so outrageously, ridiculously stupid to maintain that you can't maintain it. You're like, oh, I was running 5 miles a day for 12 weeks and I lost all this weight.
That's awful.
You want to keep running 5 miles a day? Okay, well, no, that sounds terrible. Well, at least
I think it's always just an adjustment. It should always be just well within a tiny adjustment. Like when I competed, I'm almost eating the same thing that I ate when I was competed, just in different proportions and different times. It's not as structured.
Yes.
But I mean, I still eat turkey and rice like 3 meals a day.
Yeah. Well, it's still the things that got you there into great shape.
It's still the same thing, but it's not. I'm not obsessed over it. It fits into my lifestyle, but it fits into mine. I don't know exactly how to say that.
I get it.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what? We're going to talk about, this is what we're going to talk about on our next episode. We're going to talk about the lifestyle, making it a lifestyle a lot. I get that a lot of questions. Like how do you do it? Where would I begin? All of that stuff. What are some of the things that we do personally, daily, that keep us in the lifestyle? What makes our lifestyle? Why do we keep calling it a healthy lifestyle, devotion lifestyle, whatever you want to call it? That's what we're going to talk about in our next episode. So I think this episode was pretty phenomenal. I think we covered a lot of good stuff and had a good chat. And, I think, this was productive and I feel really good about it. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining. We'll see you next time on Until It's Done, Devoted Podcast.